Hey, it's Mike Brennan. We're doing another one of our MITech TV interviews. We love to do those, as you know. And we have a longtime friend with me, Jennifer Foster, who started Catalyst Media, was it Productions?
Catalyst Media Factory.
Factory, that's it. Okay. I should have looked at your shirt there. So, anyway, I've been talking to her, getting her advice on a few things, and I thought, well, what the heck? I mean, you have a really interesting story to tell. Let's go ahead and do that.
Thank you.
I started off earlier, or just a few months ago, saying, "Gosh, when I first met you, you were like a one person band." And I like the story you just told me. Go ahead and tell the audience the story you just told me about what the beginning was like.
Well, I set off into the sunset. Had worked for an agency for a number of years, and I really enjoyed working with small and growing businesses, and decided it was time to kind of venture out on my own, and so I did. And it was me with a laptop and a folding table in a co-working space above a bail bonds, and I thought, I'm going to try this. We're going to see if we can make a go of it. And I figured after 2 3 months, I'd go get a regular job like everybody else. And and it kind of snowballed it. And next thing you know, we went from me and my laptop above the bail bonds to a team of about a dozen people. And I said we accidentally created a real company. We've got,
What's
you
up
know,
with that, huh?
it just happened. When we weren't looking, it just snowballed.
And all this was way back in October of 2016. So your
Right.
10th year. Now, I know your official celebrations this fall, but hey, what the heck? We can kick it off now with, talking about what you guys are doing. Now, one of the things that you've been obviously doing in the summer is I didn't realize you did a lot of events and you were just rattling off a whole bunch of events. Let's talk a little bit about events in general as how that fits into the overall picture of your portfolio.
Yeah. And it keeps us very busy during the summer, and media relations is one of the things that I've always been most passionate about. I just think it's a lot of fun to help get your client, or and they could be an event, they could be a technology company, and to pair them up with journalists that are interested in talking about what they do or what's going on. And so we've worked with for many, many, many years. Probably one of our longest running clients with Arts Beats and Eats, if you're familiar with that festival in Royal Oak. And we work very closely with the event producer to craft press releases, distribute the media, work with their sponsors to help get them ready and comfortable so they can be interviewed on camera, and they can talk about their businesses, as well. So it's Michigan Lottery Arts Beats and Eats in downtown Royal Oak.
So, how did you get into events? Because I know you do media uh, preparation, and what three or four other things that you do, right? Just traditional PR kinds of stuff. But events is kind of an offshoot that you don't typically see a lot of public relations firms doing. So, how did you guys get into it?
Well, I think I started early on. It was kind of an account I was assigned to work on, and it involved a lot of on-site event work. And you're right, Mike. That is very different. I think a lot of agencies have gotten away from it. They just don't have the experience with it. And your team not only has to write a press release and reach out to media, but they have to be on site and they have to help set up those segments. I remember doing a festival many years ago, and we had a newer employee with us, and it was an ice cream display, and we had a journalist from one of the TV news stations standing there, and it was summer, and you can't bring ice cream out. You got to wait till like a minute before, otherwise it'll melt. And my new employee had disappeared, and there was no ice cream. And then we got, hey, we're going live in 60 seconds. And I took off, jumped the counter, started scooping ice cream myself, cut in front of everybody, and made it back with all the ice cream on the table in just in the nick of time. And so you learn things like that, or how you should set a table up so it looks visually appealing. And you have to be willing to roll up your sleeves and work with if it's a festival, with their sponsor or their partner, so they're happy, but then that the broadcast media, for example, gets what they need. And sometimes you have to do these things on the fly. I remember again being at another event where the reporter showed up. He was all excited and wound up and high energy, and we ended up putting a whole band in a carnival ride and sending them way up into the sky to be interviewed. And you just have to kind of roll with it and think creatively.
All right, so you do events, you do media prep. What's some of your other strong suits?
Well, so we do a whole lot. What brings most of our clients to us, one of two silos. So as I said, media relations, where, and hope I'm not jumping ahead in your questions, but media relations, which we see a big demand for a couple of reasons. It helps build trust. So if you're a business, again, a technology company, a professional services company, a retailer, and people are online searching for information about you before they consider hiring you or shopping at your store or patronizing your business. And they want to see articles. They want to see something that says this company, these people are legitimate. And so that is, a big reason to get covered by the news media. A second one that we're seeing now is really has to do with AI, because more and more people are searching Claude and ChatGPT, and what we're finding is those answer engine optimization engines. I'm sorry. Um, they're going out and they're pulling that information from news articles and news sites. And so, as a business owner, you definitely want to make sure that when somebody asks a question, who is the best IT firm, in my area that can help me with this problem, that your company is being pulled up. And so, one leg of that stool, to help in answer engine optimization, is getting covered by the news media and giving, counsel and advice and showing you're an expert within, you know, online media.
And of
So that's
course, then we know the term earned media. It's essentially where operations like us write a story, and it's not something that you've paid to place, and so that's what's called earned media. So I know that's like the holy grail that all the PR companies shoot for, right?
absolutely. And again, with your talent and your all your experience, can benefit these companies as well. Again, well written content. So you're a key piece of that. Um,
Right.
so in addition to media relations, social media again is still a big arm of our business, and that's everything from targeting your potential customer through social media platforms, whether it be Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, things like that.
LinkedIn.
LinkedIn's another big one. And we've had a lot of success. It's interesting, with ad targeting as well. On Meta platforms. We had a company come to us, and they were rolling out a program, and their last agency hadn't been able to get very far with them. We went in, we targeted some ads, and boy, oh boy, did we hear from their audience on why they didn't like the program. And it was really valuable because we got a ton of feedback, and we were able to take it to the client and say, okay, this is your target customer, and this is what they're saying why this doesn't work. And so he's working to kind of retool that to better meet the needs of his audience. So again, it can be a real powerful tool. We do a lot of collateral design, graphic design these days. That's everything from annual reports to brochures and postcards, different types of mailers, things like that. Um, we do some website maintenance as well. I always joke that for a company that doesn't build websites, we sure have built a lot of websites over the years, but we do more maintenance of those for our clients when they need it updated. But like I said, usually what happens is they come in for one of two silos. It's media relations or social media. We get to know our clients really well, and then they stay with us. And then it's, hey, I need a brochure. No problem. We'll do your brochure. We know your messaging. We know what you're about. We know your style. We can do that for you as well. Or we need a website update. Not a problem. We know your messaging. We know your brand. We know your voice. Let's just do it. So.
All right. And so, what would you say of all of the things that you do, that is the one that you like the best?
Well, it's funny because my role has changed over the years from, like you said, when you started out as a one-person shop, and I was pitching media and crafting the social posts, and so now, our team has grown, and I don't get to do as much of the fun stuff as I used to, although,
Yeah,
you
the administrative stuff really wears you out. I know I can relate. So,
know. Exactly. Um, but I still enjoy media relations. I love making those connections. And even within our own agency, we are pretty good at connecting clients with other clients when they can support each other and help each other. And that's a really fun part of the job. And like I said, media relations is great. I do still do a lot in social and step in. I wear a lot of hats and wherever we need extra hands. But I've got team members that specialize in social media or they specialize in media relations, and they're passionate about each of those areas as well. So
and you've spread your wings from just being into Detroit to what, Sterling Heights and Traverse City?
yeah, so we maintain some space in at Velocity in Sterling Heights, which is Macomb County's accelerator and incubator, and then some space up north in Traverse City in 20 Fathoms, which again is their kind of accelerator and incubator up in the Traverse City area. So it gives us a lot of reach. We're pretty flexible. We find ourselves up in Traverse City frequently. For even client work, as well as just we have some individuals that are from that area. So it works out well, and we do a lot of work in the Sterling Heights and Macomb area too. So we've got that base that we can meet with clients, and and we do some work outright with Velocity. So it's nice to be able to be right in their space with them.
That's really the basic entrepreneurs at those two facilities. I mean, that could be just like you. One person starting out on their own, or maybe they got two or three buddies working with them, but they're about as novice as possible. So, what's it like working with that crowd?
Oh, it's great. If you get bored easily, like this would be a career for you because you're always meeting someone new. They always have a new business idea, and every day is different. So it's really exciting to be in that mix and learning about so many different new aspects of things, and talking to people who are working to elevate their businesses and increase awareness, and um, the different directions they want to take it and things like that. So yeah, it's a wonderful group and so many innovative companies that we get to see and get the privilege of working with.
So, besides the AI, which is, I get 600 emails a day, and I'll bet at least 10 of them are somebody telling me, "Hey, we've got AI," and I go,
Mhm.
"So does everybody at this
Yeah,
point."
thank you.
So, okay, swell. Well, I mean, what do you want me to do? But the tech space, is that where you're seeing a lot of these startup entrepreneurs, or is it all over the place?
It's really all over the place. I mean, you have, several years ago, I met a gentleman who he was a postal worker, and his son was on has autism, and he wanted to create a business that his son could learn and work in, and he ended up opening a restaurant.
Really?
It was a small restaurant and mainly carry out, and he was working with his son to teach his son kind of the business. And those are interesting stories. He had no experience running a restaurant. He just dove into it. He had made a dish at a family gathering, and people said it was really good, and it inspired him because he enjoyed cooking. We've worked with we just worked with a company that was doing custom bats, that the MLB was using, and the process that was involved in that. We've worked with IT companies to really help position them as experts. I worked with we represented one that wanted to do more work with attorneys, for example, and so as a result, we worked with them to get them interviewed and placed in legal type publications where they spoke to specific examples about if you're a law firm, these are the things you should be looking for. And ultimately, an attorney's probably not going to go out and try to redo their whole IT system, which they probably shouldn't. So they then in turn, would call, the reputable company to help them but they had to bring this topic to the attorney's attention that this is something they should be looking at and making sure just to, make sure their system was safe. So
Yeah.
um So like I said, there's never a dull day, and if there's a dull day, it's on you to go stir something up and make it happen.
All right. So if folks want to make it happen, how do they reach out to you, hey, and say, hey, I'd like to raise my hand and talk to you and see if you can help me?
Oh, I appreciate you asking that question. Uh, our website is long, but it's catalystmediafactory.com, and there's contact information on that site as well. And they can just reach out, and we'd be happy to chat about what they think they need, and how we might be able to help them, and go from there. It doesn't cost anything to chat. So.
Yeah.